Imagine waking up every day knowing that the person you are right now directly determines the life you're about to create. I'm not talking about the life you wish for or hope for. I'm talking about the life that is magnetically drawn to you based on the identity you carry in your mind and in your heart. You see, every choice you make, every action you take, and every opportunity that comes your way is filtered through the lens of who you believe you are. Most people spend their lives chasing success, happiness, or fulfillment, never realizing that the true power lies not in the goal, but in the version of themselves that shows up every single day. When you decide who you are at your core, you stop reacting to life. You start shaping it. You begin to think bigger, act bolder, and demand more from yourself because your identity refuses anything less. And here's the secret. When you step into a new identity, you unlock doors you didn't even know existed. The challenges that once held you back become stepping stones, and the fears that paralyzed you transform into fuel for growth. This is where destiny is forged, not in wishful thinking, not in luck, but in the relentless commitment to becoming the person whose life matches their highest vision. Every moment, every decision, every heartbeat is an opportunity to declare, this is who I am, and this is where I'm going. The question is, are you ready to claim it? Every single choice you make, consciously or unconsciously, flows from the version of yourself that you carry inside. Identity is not just a label or a role you play. It is the deep, often unspoken set of beliefs about who you are, what you deserve, and what you are capable of achieving. When you wake up in the morning, the decisions you make, from how you speak to yourself, to how you respond to challenges, to the risks you choose to take, are all rooted in your identity. If you see yourself as someone who is limited, unlucky, or undeserving, your decisions will naturally reflect hesitation, fear, and compromise. Conversely, if you see yourself as capable, resourceful, and unstoppable, your actions will reflect courage, persistence, and vision. This is why so many people find themselves frustrated or stuck, endlessly chasing success or happiness without ever achieving it. They are operating from an identity that is out of alignment with their true potential. Identity determines how we perceive opportunities and threats, how we interpret failure and success, and even how we define what is possible for our lives. It is not external circumstances that ultimately shape your life. It is the story you hold about yourself that governs the outcomes you produce. Every breakthrough, every triumph, every moment of progress starts with a shift in identity. When you consciously choose to see yourself as someone who solves problems, who creates value, who rises to challenges, your actions align with that belief, and the results inevitably follow. On the other hand, when you cling to limiting labels or negative self-perceptions, your decisions reinforce the very patterns you wish to escape. The truth is that identity acts like the operating system of your life. It runs every program, whether you realize it or not. Changing your results without changing your identity is like trying to get a different destination by driving the same car on the same road with the same map. It won't work. To live a life of purpose, achievement, and fulfillment, you must begin by understanding who you are at your core, acknowledging the stories you tell yourself, and consciously choosing an identity that supports the life you desire. Every action you take becomes more deliberate, more aligned, and more powerful when it is rooted in the right identity. Your habits, your mindset, your resilience, your relationships, and ultimately your destiny are all a reflection of the identity you inhabit. The way you perceive yourself is not just a fleeting thought. It is the lens through which every experience, opportunity, and challenge passes. Your self-image, how you define who you are in your mind, acts like a magnet, drawing circumstances and people that align with that perception. If you see yourself as limited, incapable, or unworthy, your world will consistently reflect those beliefs. Doors that seem wide open to others may appear closed to you, not because the opportunities aren't there, but because your internal vision doesn't allow you to see them. Conversely, when you embrace a self-image of strength, capability, and potential, the universe begins to respond in kind. You start noticing opportunities that once went unnoticed, taking risks that previously seemed impossible, and creating relationships that elevate your growth. This is not wishful thinking. It is the undeniable law of attraction in action, rooted in identity. The mind cannot operate in contradiction to its core beliefs. When you see yourself as someone who can rise to challenges, your actions naturally mirror that belief, and outcomes begin to change. Every interaction, every choice, and every step forward is influenced by your self-concept. People who consistently achieve greatness don't do so because life favors them. They do so because they see themselves as individuals who deserve success and are capable of creating it. This self-perception becomes a filter through which all decisions are measured, steering you toward paths that are aligned with your identity and away from those that are not. The challenge is that most people underestimate the subtle but profound power of self-image. They focus on external results, earning more money, gaining recognition, achieving milestones, without realizing that these outcomes will only last if the internal perception supports them. Change at the level of results is temporary if it is not preceded by change at the level of identity. By consciously redefining how you see yourself today, you lay the foundation for the reality you will inhabit tomorrow. It influences not just your confidence, but your resilience in the face of setbacks, your ability to seize opportunities, and your willingness to stretch beyond comfort zones. Every moment, from the choices you make in relationships to the risks you take in your career, reflects the identity you hold, the possibilities you attract, the people you connect with, and the doors that open in your life are all determined by the self-image you carry. Our beliefs act as invisible architects of our lives, silently designing the structure of our thoughts, choices, and outcomes. Every decision we make, every action we take, and every opportunity we pursue is filtered through the lens of what we believe is possible. Empowering beliefs that affirm our potential, our worth, and our ability to overcome challenges, serve as a catalyst for extraordinary results. They fuel persistence in the face of adversity, spark creativity when solutions seem out of reach, and instill the courage to pursue goals that once felt unattainable. You hold an empowering belief. Failure becomes a lesson rather than a verdict. Setbacks transform into stepping stones, and obstacles are viewed as opportunities to grow stronger and smarter. These beliefs do not just change your mindset, they rewire your behavior. You act differently, think differently, and consequently attract results that match the level of your inner conviction. On the other hand, limiting beliefs quietly confine you within invisible walls, dictating what you think you can achieve, what you deserve, and how you navigate the world. A belief such as "I'm not good enough" or "I'll never succeed" becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It colors every decision, restricts your actions, and ultimately shapes your reality into a reflection of doubt and fear. People often don't recognize the power these beliefs hold because they feel natural, like facts, when in reality they are learned patterns of thought that can be challenged and changed. The difference between stagnation and extraordinary success often comes down to which set of beliefs dominates your mind. Those who thrive understand that beliefs are not static, they are choices. By consciously identifying limiting beliefs and replacing them with empowering ones, you create a ripple effect in your life. Every decision becomes bolder, every action more aligned, and every interaction more meaningful. The shift may start internally, but its consequences extend outward, affecting your career, relationships, health, and sense of purpose. Empowering beliefs open doors that once seemed locked and reveal possibilities that were previously invisible. They ignite a momentum that propels you toward achievements you once thought were reserved for others. The challenge lies in the awareness to recognize which beliefs are serving you and which are holding you back, and the commitment to actively cultivate to expand your capacity to act, think, and achieve at levels beyond what you imagined. True transformation is not about setting goals or chasing outcomes. It is about consciously deciding who you are willing to be in order to achieve them. Many people spend their lives focusing on results, money, recognition, status, without ever realizing that the outer achievements are simply reflections of the inner person. You cannot consistently produce results that your current identity cannot sustain. To create lasting change, you must begin by defining the version of yourself that naturally embodies the behaviors, mindset, and resilience required to reach your vision. This means stepping beyond labels, excuses, and past limitations and consciously crafting an identity that aligns with your highest aspirations. When you choose who you want to become, your daily decisions, habits, and actions begin to align with that identity. Every challenge you encounter is approached differently. Every relationship is shaped by your new perspective, and every opportunity is evaluated through the lens of this evolving self. The power of this approach lies in the internal shift. It is easier to sustain progress when the change starts within rather than relying solely on external circumstances or motivation. Transformation driven by identity is not temporary. It creates a foundation that supports continuous growth and resilience. People who achieve extraordinary results understand that their success is not a matter of luck or timing, but a reflection of the person they have chosen to become. By consciously choosing to become a person of courage, discipline, and purpose, you create a life that naturally attracts experiences and outcomes consistent with those qualities. Conversely, if you attempt transformation by focusing only on what you want to achieve without aligning your identity, you will encounter resistance, self-sabotage, and inconsistency. The outer world responds to the inner self, and without this internal alignment, results are often short-lived or incomplete. Choosing who you want to become requires awareness, commitment, and courage. It demands that you question old patterns, challenge limiting beliefs, and adopt new standards for yourself. It is a process of redefining your identity in a way that shapes not just your actions, but your thoughts, emotions, and energy. When this transformation occurs at the level of identity, success ceases to be a pursuit and becomes a natural consequence of the person you have decided to embody. Your habits, your choices, your resilience, and your capacity to influence others all shift as a result, creating a momentum that carries you forward toward goals that once seemed distant or impossible. This is the essence of lasting change. Understanding that transformation is not about doing more, but about becoming more. Change does not always arrive in dramatic leaps or monumental events. It often begins with subtle, almost imperceptible shifts in the way you see yourself and the beliefs you carry. These small changes in identity, when applied consistently, create ripple effects that influence every aspect of your life, your choices, your habits, your relationships, and ultimately the trajectory of your future. Every time you adjust the lens through which you view yourself, you alter the set of possibilities you consider achievable. A simple shift from seeing yourself as average to capable of excellence may seem minor at first, but it fundamentally transforms the decisions you make, the risks you take, and the level of effort you're willing to invest. This is because identity functions as the internal operating system of your life. It dictates the actions your mind and body are willing to take and filters the opportunities you recognize as viable. When you make even small adjustments to who you believe you are, choosing to adopt traits like discipline, resilience, or curiosity, these adjustments accumulate over time, creating momentum that propels you toward outcomes that once seemed out of reach. The ripple effect extends beyond your personal achievements. As your identity shifts, your interactions with others transform as well. You begin to attract people who resonate with your new standards. Influence becomes stronger, and your capacity to inspire and lead grows naturally. Every choice you make, even the smallest, begins to align with the version of yourself you are becoming. Habits, which often feel insignificant in isolation, gain new meaning and power when rooted in an identity that supports growth and excellence. Each step forward reinforces the belief that you are capable, confident, and deserving of success, creating a feedback loop that magnifies progress over time. Conversely, neglecting these small shifts allows old patterns and limiting beliefs to persist, keeping you confined within a predictable range of outcomes. Understanding that identity is not fixed and that incremental changes can redefine your path empowers you to take deliberate action in shaping your destiny. The key is consistency and awareness, recognizing that each decision, each moment of courage, each refusal to settle for less compounds over time, gradually reconstructing the architecture of your life. The ripple effects of even modest identity shifts accumulate quietly yet powerfully, influencing not just what you achieve, but who you become, the choices you make, and the trajectory of the life you ultimately create.